guy. I mean, from the Detroit area.
Yeah, he won the Detroit Golden Gloves, I believe, 3 times.
Which is outstanding on its own. But then to become a pro and to pass with a 17-1-1 record. I mean, the guy was just. I mean, for his nickname to be Primetime, it's like, oh, geez, this guy's probably full of himself. He was the most down to earth. I mean, he was just a genuinely nice guy. I spoke to him a couple of times, once over the phone, and then we covered a couple of his events. Yeah. You actually were able to videotape at least.
No, we never videotaped.
You never did videotape him?
No, we did. We just did audio on his fight.
I know we've done blow by blow on a couple of his fights.
Yeah, we just did audio on his fights. We never happened to catch him on video, but we went back. We wanted to go back and actually catch him on video because he actually had a little bit of a guy that fought this weekend in him, Paulie Malignaggi. Yeah. He had that movement, that hip movement that Paulie shows so well, except for in this fight with Hatton. I don't believe he showed it very well. No. But Primetime Post had that in him.
Oh, he definitely did. I mean, so cut. He looked like a little action figure is what he looked like. Yeah. He had like that perfect fighter's body and just so incredibly athletic. Our hearts go out to the entire Post family. I actually read a post that Mr. Post put out. Greg Post is who I'm referring to. Was on the BoxRec.com message board. Because some people were questioning the manner in which manner in which Mike Post had passed, and his father said, "Don't even try to spin this. He was a very happy guy. There definitely was no foul play. There was no he had no negative thoughts about himself. He wasn't going to try to take his own life, obviously. But the autopsy is still pending, so we don't know exactly. And they take months sometimes. So
yeah, we haven't really got all.
It's not like CSI. You can wait for a commercial and find out exactly how someone died. So.
They haven't really put out any particulars, even of what they think might have been the reason that he passed.
True. So he was found by his girlfriend. That's all I know. His fiancée, pardon me, whose name is Michelle. And
actually, if you get on Facebook, there's a lot of people writing comments on there. I mean, if you want to post a comment, that's his family basically that posted that up there, and I'm sure it'll get back to him. Like you said, our hearts go out to Mike Post's family and
his fiancée, Michelle. So. That's a very, very tough break, especially when you. I mean, it's one thing if you have someone pass, as far as boxing goes, that was a journeyman that had done pretty much everything they were going to do, and they've shined a couple times, maybe got a couple title shots. This is a gentleman who never got that chance.
No, he was a rising star.
On his way up.
He was actually just getting close to getting his chance in Torres Rotator Cuff and lost his first fight, and he tore his rotator cuff in the first round of that fight and fought the rest of the fight.
And ended up going through
and losing that fight.
Yeah, on a decision.
On a decision, but he managed to go through the whole fight. So
that's a warrior right there. Yeah. Anyone willing to do that, there's a little crazy in that too. Yeah. As I pour another beer towards my face, but again, our condolences go out to the Post family. Moving on down, Contender 4 started last night. That was pretty exciting. And Felix Cora Jr. stood back, was a little bit quiet, and the man Joel Godfrey, the big tall black guy who had the really cool braids that he actually braided together into this big antenna that came off the top of his head, sort of like that when we were kids, the inflatable Kooky Spooks that actually.
Kooky Spooks. I was trying to say. I asked Amber if she was ever one of those for Halloween. I couldn't remember the name of it.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, but weren't those the shit?
Everybody was one.
Oh man, there's a picture of me with an inflatable head, and then you tie it around your face, and then you're gonna paint your face.
I don't even know what it was. I don't know what.
No, it was like a witch, and then there was like a wizard or a warlock or something. I don't know, whatever. But
it was basically a balloon that you put on your head.
It was a balloon on your. I'm a crazy balloon head. Give me some candy.
It was a beach ball, crazy.
It pretty much was a big beach ball, yeah. But anyway, he tied up his braids, dreads. I don't want to say the wrong word. I'm being racially
unbiased.
Yeah, whatever they are, they're braids or dreadlocks. He tied them together so where they were a big antenna sort of on his head. He didn't fight like that, but he walked around a lot like that during the show. By the way, I got to hammer out a couple things here. Tony Danza.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Now, how did
Great
you do?
guy.
I missed this first episode.
It just happened. It was just last night. So
And
it's on
for some
your TiVo.
reason, I got it set for TiVo now. For some reason, I got confused, and I don't know, because it was in the February magazine February Ring magazine, which came out this month. That for some reason
They always.
I don't know, but I thought it started in February for some reason, and I missed the first episode.
I just got the July issue of KO magazine. They're just a couple months ahead. That's all. But I love Tony Danza. I think he's great. He sings, he dances. He's a great actor. He's funny. Yes, he was formerly a boxer, and I get that they need some star power because they have yet again moved to another network. Now they're on Versus.
Yeah.
They started out on CBS, and that went well. But then they ended up going to ESPN. That was even better, I thought. And they were on ESPN for 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Now they're over on Versus, where you have to really look. I didn't even know if I got Versus.
Yeah, okay? I knew I did because I watched a lot of fights on it.
I had to look through a lot of stuff. Usually if it's on Versus, I assume I don't get that channel, and then I watch it the next day on YouTube. But no, I was blown away by the fact that I do get Versus, and it comes out crystal clear.
Yeah, and there's actually a HD Versus channel as well.
Which I definitely don't have, because I'm a school teacher. But bottom line, Tony Danza I was worried about, but he did a good job. He did a good job. Right off the bat, he explained, well, why am I here? Well, I was a contender at one time. I was a former... I think he fought at Super Welter. He fought at Welter and Super Welter. He's not a very tall guy.
Yeah.
But he fought right around the time, and he'd have kept fighting if he hadn't been given the chance to be in the TV show Taxi. So after Taxi, folded, he went back and he fought a couple more times. His last fight was in, I believe, 1982, he said.
Okay. I didn't even know that he went back.
And then a couple years later, he landed, the biggest show of his career, Who's the Boss? Which I was just downstairs, caught a tiny little glimpse of Ugly Betty, where Judith Light is on. Judith Light is on that show, and that was Angela Bauer. So, in 2 nights, I've seen 2 stars of the same show that I haven't seen since.
Next you're gonna watch Charm.
Oh, I'll watch that. I don't even need a reason to see that.
You got that T-vote already.
Yeah.
But now,
Joel Godfrey, who immediately showed up and immediately started talking smack, called out everyone pretty much. He said, "Yeah, I'm on this team, but I'll fight anyone tonight. I want to go first." And Felix Cora Jr., one of the most experienced guys on that show, comes up and says, "Well, yeah, I'll fight." And a couple other guys said, "Yeah, I'll fight you too. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's go. Let's get the gloves on." But when it really came down to it, Cora was the only one that said, "No, I really will go in and I will beat you." And he went and he beat him. He got a unanimous decision out of it. So.
But now let's get back to it. Talk about a couple of differences between it being on from the ESPN show to the Versus Network.
The actual setup of the show is almost exactly the same. The problem is, the difference is they're not in the United States. They're in the Philippines for this.
Okay.
So and just like everything else, all these fights have happened except the final.
Now there's a couple differences in the people in the fights. Now not all of them are from the U.S. like they were before.
Very true, very true. I mean, there's guys from Africa. I believe one gentleman's from Nigeria, and he's a multi-time Olympian.
Now I can't say, well, before they weren't all from the U.S., but they all had been fighting in the U.S.
U.S. based. I mean, a couple of these guys.
Well, obviously Saki Abika wasn't.
Yeah, a couple of these guys have probably never even been to the United States.
Yeah.
They've been waiting to. They obviously want to, but I mean, I don't have a list of all the fighters in front of me, but it's not important. It's not important. If you're listening to the show, you're a fan of the Contender too, so you know who is on the show.
And if you want to get a list of it, there's a list in Ring Magazine.
It's all over. It's very, very easy to obtain. You can go on thecontender.com as well, and you can pick that up.
Yeah.
Actually, Versus Network will give you that as well.
Just type in the Contender.
Felix Cora Jr., who's 19-2-2. I don't know if he's still 19-2-2 or if he's 22-2 now. I don't know if the way this was written out, what he was before he went in or whatever, but he smacked him around, and that was a thing of beauty, because I'm not usually a fan of smack talkers who jump in and use their mouth instead of their hands to make their statements, and that's what Godfrey did. He came in and he just wanted to make a statement with his big mouth, and he got it shut. He got it shut real quick. He got it shut quick, and he was all about hugs and handshakes after that fight. So and he looked good. He looked like he could be a good fighter.
And bottom line, was the show good enough for you to continue to watch it?
I will be watching it. I will be watching it because now for there's two things that this one doesn't have. Now last year we didn't have Sylvester Stallone either.
Yeah.
But it started out with Stallone and Sugar Ray Leonard, both sort of doing double duty.
Yeah.
And then it became all about Sugar Ray Leonard for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And now this year it's all about Tony Danza and Tommy Brooks and
I forgot Tommy Brooks.
The other trainer. Now we've had Tommy Brooks on the show before, so we can have him on again.
And he's trained a very famous cruiserweight.
Oh well, he's trained a lot of very famous heavyweights on top of everything else.
Well,
one of the
most famous guys is Van
Holyfield, one of the greatest cruisers of all time, who later, of course, became a multi-time heavyweight champion of the world. He also trained Mike Tyson for a good while. So, no, Tommy Brooks. He has put some great guys in the ring. So. Definitely no slouch, and I wish I could remember the other trainer's name, but he is a protege of Tommy Brooks. So he trains along with Tommy Brooks, and he used to be trained by Tommy. So interesting angle. Like they couldn't have. I'm not going to say anything negative about this gentleman, but they could have found a higher profile trainer.
Yeah.
Than someone who pretty much works for Tommy Brooks. I don't know about that. Well, the drama that was Jonathan Banks against Enzo Maccarinelli just won't end. I mean, when I went to Cincinnati a couple months ago to see Layman Brewster take apart Danny Batchelder, Jonathan Banks was there. He didn't fight, but he was there helping work some corners. And I met him, asked him a couple questions, asked him when his WBO title fight was supposed to be. Because it had already been canceled once. And he says, yeah, I'm going against Enzo Maccarinelli in December, and can't wait for that fight. So we've been waiting. We've had him on the show since.
Yeah, we just start talking about the cruiserweights on the Contender. There's the big cruiserweights about to get back in the ring.
I've spoken to Jonathan Banks twice in the past month. Once on the phone when we were interviewing on Bolo Punch, and once to ask him about Jones and Calzaghe for the article that I put on BoloPunchBoxingHour.com. Interesting that now all of a sudden he's the one that pulled out. He's the one that pulled out with an ankle injury. So Dan can't win for losing. I mean, no good luck there. So that's when the interesting stuff comes out. I mean, you would think, okay, so now that fight's not going to happen. Maccarinelli says, hell no, I am fighting. I don't care who you put me in there with. I am fighting because I haven't fought since David Haye handed me my ass, 6 months ago. I need to get in there and I need to fight somebody. So they said, well, let's take the IBF #2 cruiserweight in the world. Let's take BJ Flores, who hasn't fought in a while. Let's give him 4 days notice. Now, he's a friend of ours too. We've had him on, and he was part of that article as well.
He's pretty famous for another guy that was on the Contender.
Ding-a-ling. Darnell Wilson.
That's the guy that he knocked out.
All connected everywhere. So, interestingly enough, they give him the title shot. They say, fine, we'll give you the WBO title shot against Maccarinelli, who, hands down, BJ Flores is going to beat if that fight ever happens. I just gave the ending away. That fight's not going to happen because he needs more than 4 days' notice.
Exactly.
You can't give a championship caliber fighter like BJ Flores 4 days to fight for the title. It's idiotic to even think to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were in a bind. They had a really good fighter in Jonathan Banks, possibly a great fighter in Jonathan Banks. It's all set and the program's printed and ready to go, and then he hurts himself in training with the heavyweight champions of the world, I'll add.
Yeah.
And then it becomes well, let's throw BJ Flores a bone and we'll see if he bites. And he said he didn't even think it over. He goes, hell no, that's supposed to be the best fight of my career for the title. I'm not going to jump into it with 4 days. He says, I really want that fight. Can you give me a couple weeks? Can you give me 3 weeks? Because I'll knock you out if you give me 3 weeks. And they said, no, take it or leave it. And he said, leave it. I'm not. Hell no.
Because
if you good for him.
The thing is in boxing, it's not like MMA.
No.
MMA
where there's only 30 guys total.
Well, not only that, if you lose a fight, they kind of play it off that you're still a great fighter. In boxing, if you lose a fight, it takes 2 years for you to get back to the top of the heap. especially a guy like BJ Flores who he hasn't got the title yet.
No.
You know, if you've held the title and beat a couple good guys, then you lose. You're not quite in the same.
He's still sort of on his way up.
Yeah.
Even though he's, IBF has him at number 2, WBO number 5, WBC is 13, and WBA is number 8. So, in general, he's top 10 material.
Yeah.
And he's number 2 in IBF. So that means something. And he recognizes the fact that means something. And he's not about to jeopardize his great rank to go in there and possibly get beaten. Although I still could put a couple of shiny quarters on BJ Flores to win that fight, even on 4 days, because he has been training.
Yeah.
He's been training, but he's been training in general. He told us, not for any one particular opponent. And training to stay in shape is not exactly the same as training for that guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to watch tape on that guy, and I'm going to learn how that guy throws his hooks.
Well, not only that, when you say you're training, that might mean that he's sparring with a champion as well. He might be training to help another heavyweight, or or maybe even a light heavyweight to train for someone that he might be fighting that's a little bit bigger than him. You never know what he's actually doing. He might be sparring, to help somebody else out, which you're not doing the same thing when you're trying,
No, you hit the nail on the head right there. So training could be lots of different things. You don't know, like you said, we don't know what training really means. So it could be lots of different things. So we can't judge on that. Bottom line, BJ Flores was offered the chance, and he said no, thanks but no thanks. Knock out whatever loser they're going to throw you in with, and then come fight me. Give me some time, and I'll be glad to. So the gentleman, and he's not a loser, the gentleman that he is going to be fighting is WBO's number 15, light heavyweight, who is Francisco Alvarez, 11-1 with 9 knockouts.
Now that is not for the title, is it?
For the vacant WBO cruiserweight title, yes.
I didn't think they would give it to somebody that was as low ranked as 15.
Well, there was actually talk for a little while, for a couple days at least, that Matt Granelli was going to fight former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Herbie Hyde, who's like 45 years old.
Lost.
What?
Didn't he lose? I thought he lost last week.
Herbie Hyde fought 2 weeks ago. And I do believe he lost. But that's not why. I mean, they were still going to offer him the fight.
Oh, okay.
And they ended up going with someone who I believe is a little safer, a little less experience, and they can get away with a little bit more. Maybe now it's time for the story that I possibly should have started with. Sugar Shane Mosley admits under oath that yes, he injected himself with banned substances. EPO. I don't know exactly what that is, but that is a known performance-enhancing substance, EPO, before his second fight with Oscar De La Hoya, who Fight News finds hilarious that is oddly enough also his business partner in Golden Boy Promotions. I find that hilarious too. I'm interested to see how that's going to pan out for Shane.
Yeah, no, we were actually talking about this. I'm not sure exactly when his father left and when his father came back to training him.
I don't know what the connection is between I'm shooting myself in the butt and Daddy leaving. I don't know what the I don't have the exact timeline in front of me, but
I was thinking maybe something might be connected there. I don't have the timeline in front of me of when his father left and when the Oscar fight was exactly, but I know it's not too far apart from there.
You think there might be a connection? Daddy's saying, I don't like the way you're doing this.
Yep.
I mean, it always did seem odd that they just could not get along because they are always smiling. Those Mosleys are constantly, they're smiley people.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising. We heard about it before, about him doing this, and it kind of got brushed off to the side that, there wasn't that big a deal and he wasn't doing it or whatever, but it wasn't made that big of a deal, but comes back around and now he actually says that he actually did it, and I don't know, it's still not seeming as big a deal to most people in the fight world as it should.
Well, this is actually going to be our topic, so I'm glad we got to touch upon it right now. In about 40 minutes when we come back to our topic time, we'll be able to get a couple of your opinions in this as well if you hit us on the message board and whatnot. But what the question I'll be posing you is, what do we do now? Do you have to change the outcome of that fight? I mean, that's something to think about. something to chew on right there. So we'll talk about that. Not to worry. I don't want to bust that out right away. Kendall Holt against Ricardo Torres. The first time they fought, of course, Torres took it within 11 rounds. That was a great fight. And then the rematch, Kendall Holt took it within about a minute.
But Kendall Holt was also down twice in that fight.
Yeah, but in the first fight.
No, in the rematch.
In the second fight, yeah.
He was knocked out. That fight might be
round of the year.
It's definitely going to be round of the year, but it might even end up being fight of the year, even though it was only one round.
I don't know if a 1-round fight can be called.
The thing is I don't want to call it round of the year or fight of the year because he won because of a headbutt.
See, it's still.
He hit him. He knocked him down twice. Torres knocks Holt down twice, and Holt always has had power. He comes at him and connects with a headbutt at first, and kind of rocks Torres. And when he leans back on the ropes, he gets caught, with the right hand and drops him instantly. He basically got caught with a combo, including his head, and it's actually I thought it was a mistake that the ref kind of I don't know how you could count that as a knockout because the guy got knocked out because of a headbutt.
Problem is there's no instant replay, which is something we've talked about for years on this show. If there's no instant replay and the ref didn't see the headbutt really land, you really can't.
And the thing is the Showtime produced this fight. They're going to produce the next fight as well. This fight actually got.
This is a rubber match they're going to.
Yeah, that fight got put on this year because another fight ended up getting canceled. I can't remember what fight it was.
Well, this fight was already going to happen, but now it's going to be the main event.
Well, it's going to happen this year as well.
Yeah.
It was going to happen next year, but it came into the budget for this year, so it's going to happen even quicker.
Yeah.
Because of another fight pulling out. I can't remember the fight that pulled out. Nonetheless, the headbutt. I don't know how you could, like you said, there's no replay, and the thing is the announcers and stuff on Showtime watched it. And they didn't say anything very much about the headbutt until the very end. They go, he might got caught by a headbutt. And that was it. They didn't really play it up, that it really rocked him. But if you watch it, he got rocked by that headbutt.
See, I saw it. I noticed that.
And I guarantee they're going to replay it on Showtime.
Yeah. I mean, a fight that lasted that long, and then the rematch is 1 round, you're gonna have to really dissect what happened in that 1 round.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you got money, put it on Ricardo Torres because he was winning that second fight as well. And he's probably not going to be the favorite because he lost last time.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. 140 pounds. 140 pounds, some crazy stuff going on at just above the lightweight, ranking divisions. Andre Berto is now going to be fighting Collazo. Luis Collazo, one of our favorite fighters, because he's just like the second best fighter in every division. He's always that good. The WBC welterweight championship is what Berto holds, and it's up for purse bid right now. They're trying to figure out who's going to promote it. Don King has, again, the second best offer on the table. We'll see who picks it up, but I cannot wait for that fight.
Yeah, welterweight's actually kind of thinned out a little bit since Mayweather left and actually Paul Williams left as well.
Has to do with Cotto losing too.
Yeah.
There's not this big ominous cloud over it, the Cotto division. It just shows that there's no such thing as someone that can't lose.
Yeah.
I mean, we said it before, we'll say it again. 2008 was not good for undefeated fighters.
Yeah, Floyd took the right year off.
He sure as hell did. Because if this year was anything, would have been anything for him, like it's been for countless other fighters that have lost their O this year, he'd have been, what?
Yeah, there's a couple guys that stayed up there. David Hay and Calzaghe.
We hadn't even heard of David Hay 2 years ago, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he just showed up and, okay, guess what? I'm undefeated too. Okay, there's a lot of undefeated guys. But he's going up there beating up on, Monty Barrett.
Yeah.
Monty Barrett almost killed himself just getting in that ring, by the way. That was funny as shit. I mean, I had to wait to see it on YouTube because I did not see it on the illegal feed that you sent, on the highly illegal, questionable feed that you sent me.
But that was great. I was watching it with a great deal of British fans, and they instantly all just ripped on Monty Barrett, and all I could do was agree with them.
That was hilarious.
Yes, it was.
He wanted to come up over the rope and his foot got caught flat on his face, dude. Oh, man. That's got to be embarrassing. That was as hard as he got hit anytime by Hay, too. That was hard. Oh, yeah. Real big deal. WBA somehow decides to put Holyfield at number 12. Hasn't won a fight in, 4 years? 3 years? 3 years? Sultan Ibragimov handed him his ass last time they fought. WBA, officially. I don't care anymore who you rank. There are other members of the alphabet soup that I didn't care. WBA, how you sleep at night putting Evander Holyfield number 12. If I was number 11, I'd put a gun in my mouth.
The only reason I don't know how they got him all. I figured they just ranked him 15. Because I'm believing you have to be in the top 15 to get a title shot at Bellator.
Evidently, all you have to do is be in the top 12. Or
I assume top 10, but it must be top 15.
You could give the top number 28 a title shot, I guess, if you wanted to.
As long as you get the...
I saw Rocky. Anyone can get a title shot. Vernal Phillips, way to go. Nice try. Get your parting gift and head on out, because Paul Williams did a number on you.
And I didn't realize how high Vernal Phillips was ranked.
Vernal Phillips is a great fighter.
He was ranked number 2 by Ring Magazine.
Good times, too. He deserved it.
Vernon Forrest was the only one ranked ahead of him. And he comes into this fight, I mean, fresh off the win against Corey Spinks.
Yeah.
And ends up getting beat around there for was it 9 rounds before they stopped it due to... 8. Well, yeah, it was stopped at the beginning of the 9th round, right before the 9th round started.
No, they're calling it an 8th round TKO.
Yeah, 8. Was it 2:59?
Probably, yeah.
Or 3 minutes, because it was stopped between the round, between the 8th and 9th round.
Yeah, the round had stopped, but they had to call it a TKO
and,
at the 8th.
Everybody thought they stopped because of Paul Williams' cut over his eye, which Phillips did a pretty good job of beating that eye up, not only with his gloves, but with his head as well.
Yeah, nice little, speaking of Holyfield, nice little
he
third
uses
glove.
Veteran knowledge.
39! Yes, you throw headbutts if you're old. That's the rule. I'm old. I lead with my head.
But he did a pretty good job of using that head, and Paul Williams got cut early on, I believe first or second round, and just worked through it. Never bothered him. He went in the corner, and the guys in the corner seemed more nervous about it than him. All worked up in the corner. He goes, just work on my cut. You know? He said that to him. I was like, wow, this guy...
When he cuts, it scares me, though. He gets the weirdest cuts. It looks like a mouth opens up over his eye. Feed me, Seymour. It becomes this mouth. Just like when he fought Carlos Quintana. The first time they fought. That big old cut that was on his eye, it looked like a tongue was hanging out of his forehead. It was very odd.
But they kind of slowed down the bleeding pretty well.
Yes. Oh, they did a good job with it.
It took a couple rounds for it to stop, but that usually does happen. And, he fought through it. He looked great in that fight, even though he had the cut. He didn't seem as busy in the beginning as what he usually is, but he changed his mind as the fight went on.
He is still huge for that division. How far can he go before people start looking like him?
Well, he went up to middleweight and then came back down to junior middleweight.
Yeah, okay, fine. He's not at welter. That's what I'm saying.
I think he's looking for a fight with Oscar.
He ain't fighting no Oscar.
I think he's looking...
Oscar better not. Oscar's crazy, but he ain't stupid.
Oscar actually mentioned it. He fought Stevie Forbes. He could fight Paul Williams.
I'm not about to say that Stevie Forbes had no chance of winning that fight. But Stevie Forbes wasn't going to win. And we knew that. He put on a hell of a show. He did even better than I thought he was going to do. Way to go, Stevie Forbes. But come on. Calling out Stevie Forbes is not the same as calling out Paul Williams. And you are stoned if you think that that's the same.
I'm saying, as far as big name, as a guy that's going to... Oscar's obviously going to generate the money no matter who he fights.
Sure.
And
he's going to lose Saturday, by the way.
More than likely he is going to lose.
Oh, yeah. He's going to lose Saturday. He's going to lose bad, too.
But I don't think that matters. I think if he loses, there's more than likely that he will have another fight. If he wins, it may be his last fight.
So do I secretly hope he wins? just so I don't have to watch him again. I mean, I'm warming up to Oscar.
Especially watching the 24/7, it makes you warm up. You see how good of a family man he is.
Oh, he's a good guy. He's never not been a good guy. I don't like
the smile.
I don't. The smile pisses me off a little bit because I'm not as handsome as he is. But that's not the real reason. What gets me is how his gym is like a rotating door of trainers. And if he loses a fight, he fires the trainer. The only trainer he hasn't fired because of losing a fight is Mayweather Sr.
And that's because Senior won't come back unless he pays him more money.
Yeah. So he just keeps him. He just stays there. Ricky Hatton. Oh yeah, well, okay. I'll go work with Ricky Hatton instead. Which is another fight that we haven't been able to even talk about. But
yeah, we'll get to that.
We need to take a break.
Yeah.
We need to take a break because we have to talk about Chris Arreola too. Who's got a very unfortunate name, but a very awesome set of hands.
And we kind of disagreed on how he fights, and because we talked about this a little bit before the show.
A little bit, yeah. And I still don't believe what you were saying, but we're gonna take our first break of the night. We'll be right back with all the fights that got us through the last couple of weeks, at very least the last week or so, and then we'll be that much closer to our topic, which we want you at home to take part in. Plus, we'll be making our official picks for Oscar De La Hoya against Manny Pacquiao, the Dream Match, which is coming up Saturday Night Live on HBO pay-per-view. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. www.bolopunchboxinghour.com, streaming to you live, as always, on Ustream.tv.